Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can register as well as how you can join the device to Entra ID as a domain joined device, right? So before that, I wanted to give you a bit context. So bit context is going to be basis on the requirements when we wanted to join the device manually as well as register the device manually, right? And why we are doing that, or why we should do that, or maybe what are the reasons to do that, right? So the reasons or requirement would be when we have a device and we wanted to use it for our corporate as well as for user requirements, and the same device is already part of autopilot, right? And that is when we wanted to bring that device into Intune so that we can push out certain policies and compliance requirements and settings and security measures on it, right? So to do that, we would be registering the device as well as we would also be joining the device to the Entra ID as a domain joined device so that it gets the Intune capabilities from security standpoint, from management point of view, right? And everything is being deployed on the device side, right? So before that, there are certain requirements that we should be fulfilling on the Intune side in order to manage the devices, in order to let people or users enroll and register their devices into Intune. So we need to make sure the MDM authority is set and enabled for all the devices and not specific to a specific group or group of devices or group of users, right? So every user who is trying to register their device, who is trying to join to the Entra ID, they should be able to do it, and that configuration needs to happen. So that's the one time configuration that is needed to be enabled on the tenant side, on the Intune side. And once that is enabled, we should be good to go ahead and enroll the devices manually. So the method which I'm going to show you, that is pure manual way. That can be either done by the administrators or that can be done by the end users as well, if we are guiding them or giving them the step by step instructions how they can do it, how they can follow the steps and register or join the device, right? So I'm going to show you those steps here quickly. I have a virtual machine here and simply I'm going to show you from scratch. So this is the virtual machine, right? And simply I'm going to search for access work or school. So this is the setting or option from where we can simply register a device, also from a join device to the domain, right? And to do that, you need to click on this connect button here simply. And then also there's another way. Instead of doing this or going through this one, this is the one, enroll only in a device management platform. Then this is going to give us a direct enrollment into the Intune, right? Without any registration or without any other options, right? So this also does the same, which is going to work as intra-domain joint device enrollment instead of registering the device. But you will see the difference between this method as well as from the connect method. If I go here on the connect method, you see there are a bunch of other options or other alternatives that we can see and use. So this is going to allow us to register the device in Intune and enter ID. So that is going to be a registered device and not the intra domain join device, right? Because this is a straight and direct enrollment and it is pretty straightforward. On the other hand, we have joined this device to the Entra ID. This is going to join the device to the Entra ID, and from there it is going to be part of Intune as well as Entra ID, and we can push out policies and configurations, and then the device becomes a part of our autopilot profile as well as our Intune, and then we can manage it fully. So that becomes, or that gives an opportunity for us to manage the device fully from Intune side. And then this second option here, we have joined this device to a local Active Directory domain. So what does this mean is that this allows us to join the device from here manually as an end user or as an administrator, and then we can join the device to the local active directory domain environment when we have a hybrid environment, and from there we wanted to manage the device, and then we wanted to provide access levels and access on a different applications and clients and everything altogether, right? So for now, or for this specific scenario, I'm going to show you only on registration as well as on the Entra join, and the one main focus is going to be on Entra ID joint, because registration is simply going to be a registering device, and that's going to register. Let's say I am registering the device now, and then this is going to be registered to the Entra ID, right? Then this should be flowing through few steps, because there are not many steps, right? So once I click next, it is going to ask me to enter the credentials, and now it is asking me to authenticate myself, right? So this is needed as this is the step where it is going to ask and users basis on the authentication method that is set for users within the organization. So now it is showing that hold on while the device is being registered, and it is going to check company policies, and those policies would be applied on the device, right? So it's going to take few minutes. And okay, so here we got the error which says that your account was not set up on the device because could not be enabled. So there could be a reason that this device was not enabled because of the registration itself was not enabled. So this is something which we can go back and check from the Entra ID why the device was not registered, right? But this is the way where you can simply go ahead and register the device in Intune or Entra ID. So next step I'm going to show you for Entra ID join. So this is the method here. Once or when you are trying to join the device, you need to click on this join this device to the Entra ID, and then I'm going to simply enter the credentials, and once that is done, I can simply click next. Here I need to password for this account, and then I should be ready to authenticate myself as an end user. And this is going to also go through the same process and check the same method, and then it is going to join the device. All right, so here you see this is the expected prompt where you can see make sure this is your organization, and you see the connecting to which domain, and the username and user type shows as an administrator, right? So this is showing that this device is going to be joined to the Entra ID and be a part of registered device in Intune as well, right? And you need to click on join button as an end user and admin to join this device. If not, then simply you can cancel it. And on the user type permission level, it's showing administrator. It is showing administrator because this account is going to be added or part of the local device group, and that is why it is showing administrator. But even if it is part of local device group, it does not have the administrator permissions on the device itself to perform the administrator actions, right? But it is only going to add that for a management or permissions delivery perspective, right? So click on join button here, and once you click on join, it is going to check the background checks in order to join the device to the Entra ID, right? So this is something which needs to be checked and verified during this process, and once this is completed, it is going to simply join device to the Entra ID. Perfect. So now you see it is all set, and it is enrolled or registered to the Entra ID as well as Intune, and we are good here. All right, so now you can see it connected to this Entra ID and connected by this user account. Also, you can see two buttons here, disconnect and info. If you wanted to disconnect, you can simply click on disconnect button, because this option is available on the local administrator account only, because local admin account has the permissions to remove that account. But if you are logged in with the same account, this account is, or this button is going to be grayed out, and you won't be able to do that. Instead, you would have only option to click and see what is under info button here. So let's say if you click on info button, you see number of policies being applied on this device, as well as the number of applications those would be deployed on this device. So you see the process is already started here, which is download in progress for different applications. So this is the application ID, which really doesn't show us exact what application it is going to be installing, and what are those, or what's the name of that application. Right, you see the connection information, which is a management server, which is going to be management authority from Microsoft Intune side, and then it has exchange ID, which is going to be unique for each device, right? And then the device sync status. So these are the last sync attempted date times, and also as an end user can go ahead and sync it, and as a administrators can collect the diagnostics logs and report from here, and then they can go through those logs and troubleshoot if any issues are occurring, or anything that is not working as expected, right? So, and the very important part here is about the policies, which policies are being enforced and deployed on the devices, right? So you see number of policies are being deployed, and those policies would be pushed through the Intune, because whatever the policies we have deployed and created and are targeting all the devices group, because this group or this device is already part of our dynamic device group, where as soon as the device is joined to the Entra ID, that device becomes a part of Entra ID dynamic group, and then the same policy applies to all those devices group, right? So now we saw the end user side or end user experience. Now we'll see the same from admin side, where we will be able to see the device in Entra ID as well as in the Microsoft Intune, right? So let's go back. So here I'm in Intune, and under the devices section, under the platforms, under Windows, the device should be shown up here, but currently it is not showing because it is still trying to evaluate the device enrollment status, and then that status is going to be reported back to Intune, right? So that is something, it takes a bit of time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And on the Enter ID side, once you are on Enter ID, then you need to go back to the Enter ID and then devices, and from here you can see the device. You need to click on all devices, and all right, so here is the device that is joined to the Enter ID, right? So currently it is showing compliant as a no, because this is still trying to evaluate with Intune and Enter ID together, so that it, once it is evaluated, it is going to show us that as well. Also, you see this device is added here with the specific device ID, because this is just a virtual machine, and this is not something which is, or which was already be part of autopilot. But this device becomes enabled as soon as we join the device to the Enter ID. Also, you see the Windows is an operating system, then version of that OS, and the type, joint type is showing as Microsoft Entra joint, right? So this is something which is really important to know, and we should check during this process. Also, there are other settings which includes the owner of the device, then MDM authority set to Intune, then the security settings management is going to be Microsoft Intune, because Intune is going to manage the device and then push out the different security and compliance and all other requirement policies on it. And at the last you see registered as well as activity. That's going to show the device registration date and time along with the last activity, when the last activity was happened on the device side, right? And now you might be wondering, as I said, this becomes a part of autopilot device, but this device is not showing up. Why? Because we haven't really added this device's hash details within autopilot in Intune, right? And that is why this device has not been part of autopilot. So now this device is showing as a part of Entra ID joint device type, but it is not a part of autopilot. To do that, we need to get the device hash device serial numbers and product ID from the device, and then we need to push or upload it into autopilot, and that is when that's going to become a autopilot device, right? So that's also another manual method. I have shown that in another video, how we can upload the device hash and device details in Intune, and that's going to give you an manual way to upload and make sure the devices are part of Intune autopilot, right? And we can go back to Intune and see if that is showing up here. Seems that is still not yet populated. Maybe let's go ahead and refresh this page, and also I'll simply close out from device side. One thing you might have noticed that there are two applications which are already installed as soon as we deployed or joined the device to the Enter ID. So let's go back and access work or school account, and then click on this, click on info button, and here you see the Zoom 64-bit is deployed successfully, and install it, and the other applications as well, right? So these are the applications, those are successfully installed. Along with that, the policies which are deployed on the device through Intune, those are successfully installed or deployed. So now to see those policies, I will simply open up this browser, and probably will see some changes or settings happening. Perfect. So this is the setting, or this is the policy that I had set up to deploy a web page, which is default web page on the browser. As soon as user opens a browser, they need to, or they should be routed to office.com portal, right? And that is why as soon as I open this browser page, the policy is applied successfully, and I as an end user don't have to enter the office.com and then enter the credentials. Now it is simply going to ask or allow me to enter the credentials and then log into my account directly, right? So let's say I'll show it again. Click on browser, and perfect. Here you see this is automatically redirecting to the office.com page. But at the top you don't see the URL because there's another option or configuration. I did not enable that, and that is why it is not showing that up here. But the page and redirection is appropriately working here. So it is working as expected. Also, you see the applications installed, including Firefox and Zoom and other applications and settings. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much here. And on the Intune side, let's go back and see if that is showing up here. So that should show up here. I believe that is going to take a bit of time. Maybe let me go ahead and push synchronization from here and see, because this is manual synchronization, and as soon as it syncs between device and Intune, it is going to make sure the device is already registered successfully and it has all the policies and configurations picked up from Intune side, right? So this way we can make sure the process is faster, and it is going to take or pick up all the configurations that we are deploying. So let's wait for it maybe 1 or 2 minutes to synchronize, and we should be good to see that device here, or maybe it's going to take some time because there is another way to speed up that process is to restart the device or restart this the machine that we have intra joined, right? If I restart this or close this device is not going to be a part of that one because this is a pure sandbox machine, and it is just an application, or it is just an sandbox. It does clears everything once we close or restart the device. So it is not going to show, or it is not going to be ready to use back, right? So let's do anything here. Oh no. Okay. So yeah, that is all the process all about intra joined as well as registration, right? And yeah, so that's all for this video. If you have any questions, any doubts, please put them in the comments. And then yeah, also please do like, share, and subscribe, and do share in your friend circles, communities, and let them know something different, right? And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.